That's good. Oh no. Pra. Alright, we're good. We're good. Nobody's here. We didn't miss anything. Alright. Look massive. Look huge. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. We'll see. Hello. Hey, Nick. How are you doing? Just finished up the volleyball stuff or what? Their team's not terrible, considering like this is like their first season. I think you said. Why do I do that? Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, itchy. I'm sorry that happened, Nix. I'm sorry. It's like you had like one really good high, or I shouldn't say high, like a really good experience, and then like the complete opposite. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I bet you're pretty happy, or relieved, I should say, that the season's over. What a douche. What a douche can do. Hey, everybody else listening to live, feel free to say hi or not. It's all good. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, though. I'm glad you're okay, though. Tasty. Ooh. Hey, everybody. Well, don't stand so close to my feet. Why are you? Oh my god. You're so whiny. Is that butter? Your breath's stinky. Yep. price goes to game. This is Taco. Taco is a really needy little taco. Okay. Okay. There you go. Diddy, how's it going? Yeah, YouTube takes a little bit to kind of navigate through. Use a taco. But the thing that's nice about this platform is, like I said, like in my other lives, if you were on my TikTok earlier, you could ask me like quite literally anything, and I don't have to fucking. I should probably watch the swearing, though I've been told to be careful with that in regards to monetization. But I can talk about quite literally almost anything and not have to worry about like something getting reported or getting my pee slapped, right? So that is a nice thing here in comparison, I should say. Whoops. Well, hopefully you're all right and not too bruised or beat up tomorrow. Like you said, it was just your finger, but even then, sometimes you might not really notice it until the morning. Boy. So, yeah. It's so weird that I can't have music on this live stream. I'm so like I've gotten so comfortable with music, and now I'm not doing music, and it drives me up the wall because it felt so natural. Now it just feels like awkward missionary sex. I don't like it slapped around. It hurts. Right? It feels weird. It definitely does feel weird. I don't know. There's a few things that for me, don't stare in my eyes, that I've noticed that are definitely different. For example, the comment section, it comes up and then disappears. So if I want to see the comments, I have to click on the screen for them to pop up again. Fire Steve, how's it going, buddy? So like, that's definitely different in comparison to like the lives here. So like whenever I don't know how much Steve, if you've done lives on YouTube or not, but you can't have music in the background, otherwise you get a copyright claim. The comments when you're doing the live, you have to click on the screen because the comments don't stay up. They kind of just pop up and disappear really quickly. So like that's frustrating. But overall, like the thing I do like about the lives here is I don't have to worry about what I say for the most part. Like swearing, I should probably dial it down, but I can openly talk about anything here and not have the repercussions that I would have on a TikTok live. It's going good. Is it slow for you right now with work because of breakup? Hey everybody that's in the live. Say hi, please. I'm lonely. We're lonely. Yeah. So with YouTube, I find once you have more subscribers, it's not too bad. But I have to go on my other socials and let people know that hey, I'm going live here. Emerald Hills, how are you? It definitely takes a little while for YouTube to build up, but this is the platform I'd like to like move my lives to eventually. It's just sad, like not sad. It's frustrating. Frustrating is the word I'm looking for. When I do it like a TikTok live, it pushes me on the FYP. It's like this individual is live, and I wish they would kind of do something similar for that on YouTube. So when you scroll into YouTube Shorts, so like this content creator's live or this person's live, right? But I will say the nice thing about YouTube is, for the most part, you're kind of subscribed to someone and you click on them, and there's a lot less trolls I've noticed because like if you look at the live right now, there's only 8 of us in here, right? So that is nice because to me it shows that these are the people that want to be here and not necessarily people coming in and asking like, oh, like when did you transition, or like just the dumb stuff that you always see on TikTok lives. What kind of relapse did you have? Because. So I struggle with alcohol. One second, I just want to make sure I'm not missing. I'm always working. That's missing. Operate. No breakup. Hashtag notification that you were live. Oh, well, I'm glad it gave you a notification. So I personally, Dinny, yes, Dinny. Okay, alcohol has always been something I really struggle with. I so I was sexually assaulted by a cousin, right? On like not a blood cousin. So I'm adopted. My biological father was never in the picture. I'm gonna give you guys a story time, so bear with me. I'll try and give you a short story as fast as possible. My biological father wasn't in the picture. My mom remarried or got married with my brother's dad. So like my younger brother, she got married, had a brother, or I had a brother. Sorry, I'm fucking this all up. So I have a brother, right? His name's Terrence, and that's on my stepdad's side of the family. And then I have my youngest brother Xavier, who's on my biological father's side of the family. So Terrence's dad became my adoptive father. So right now my last name is Dehus, but when I was a kid, my last name was Sweezy, right? So yeah, you can imagine being Sweezy. You got fucking picked on. No, squeeze me. Anyway, so I was sexually assaulted by his nephew, right? And when I came forward about that, that entire side of the family told me a liar, told me I was making it up, that this individual was the picture perfect child in the family, the one that everybody would ever want. So my mom didn't even hesitate. My mom knew I wasn't lying. Like everything just clicked for her. I started going to therapy at a young age, and even the therapist that I went to, it was in Grand Prairie. If you know the Grand Prairie area, when you go downtown, there is a little Catholic building, and it's for essentially counseling. And so it was like a Christian counseling center. And when I went there, the counselor, or the therapist that I was given, if you will, asked me if I was making this up because, boys are boys and they'll experiment. And that kind of, for me, as a young boy, made me not want to trust men in my life anymore. It made me really fucking uncomfortable. Like, to know that one, my stepdad didn't believe me, my grandparents didn't believe me, and that side of the family was calling me a liar, and then I go and meet a stranger who's supposed to be helping me, and then making me feel like I'm making this shit up. It fucking hurt me. So when I was 13 years old, I got into sleeping pills at a very young age. I was stealing them from my mom. My mom was prescribed sleeping pills, muscle relaxants, and I would steal them. And just like any other teenager, I would go into my fucking parents' liquor cabinet and I would fucking steal vodka and top it up with water. And eventually I got busted with the alcohol, but I wasn't worried about that because I still had access to sleeping pills. Um, at 13, when we were living out in the country, I don't know if I can talk about this on YouTube. We'll find out. We have a hunting rifle that we used to have out on the farm. Fuck me. I can't even remember. Anyway, we had a hunting rifle. I put the motherfucker in my head. I pulled the trigger, but it jammed. I did that in front of a friend when I was younger. And I I want to say that is where like the snowball effect for me happened, and it happened very quickly. So I got arrested at 13 for the very first time, and I would get arrested a handful of more times until I got I finally got convicted of a DUI. Of all things to get convicted of, like a DUI, operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of drugs or alcohol is very minor in comparison to some charges I could have got. Give me a sec here. Well, like my mom believed me, right? It wasn't like I wasn't being heard, but at the time when I was younger, I was mad, right? I was so fucking hurt and I felt so betrayed because this had happened for so many years. By the time I was 5 or 6 years old, up to the time I was 12, almost 13, I had been. I hate like the terminology behind sexual assault, but like I had been violated in my sleep. I had been violated on my birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. And like my family, we don't really celebrate those holidays. Like when it's Christmas time, we don't buy each other gifts. We enjoy each other's company, right? So like that's just kind of how my family is. But once going back to Dinny, if you're still alive, going back to the substances, once I was I want to say 15, 16, alcohol really took a fucking hold of me. And when I was of legal age, it got worse because now I could just go out and buy it whenever, wherever, and it wasn't a problem. I didn't have to get someone to boot it for me. And that fast tracked everything for me. I didn't like smoking pot at all, honestly. It made me feel uncomfortable. But I absolutely loved the hard stuff. Like, accidentally tried meth one time. I thought it was a fucking bag of coke, and it was meth. Wasn't really for me. I didn't like being up and feeling really uncomfortable. I was already on a fucking 3 day coke bender, and then you add meth on top of that. I didn't go to sleep until day 6, almost day 7, and I was losing my shit. Like, everything was making me like beyond paranoid. I was seeing stuff. I was like hallucinating. It was bad. Like, it was so fucking bad for me at that point. But alcohol was the biggest thing I struggled with because when alcohol was in the picture, I would, in a sense, strip myself of who I was. Like, not like clothes or anything, but like any morals or feelings or anything that I had as a person, I would strip that away. And it was like, fuck, I'll drop in like a weekend. The most expensive weekend I ever had cost me $2,100 in cocaine. Like, that was probably the worst weekend I ever had. Um, and it kept spiraling. I would literally reach out to my mom and ask my mom for a loan for money, or I'd ask my fucking brother for a loan. Anyone and everyone. I was asking for, oh, I just need, like $40 for a tank of gas, or I just need like $20 for this. And I would go through everyone. It was like a fucking checklist of people I would go through until I had X amount to hold me over because I just pissed my entire fucking months of income away just to get fucked up for a weekend or a week. And for years that went on, and I was embarrassed, but I had no control over it, and I never really saw how out of control it had gotten for me. Right? And like even when I had like that little bit of a relapse, slip up, whatever you want to call it, there was a part of me that felt very comfortable drinking. My first day drinking, I polished off a 40. Like it was nothing. Just like it was like old habit. I put a fucking 40 back of tequila and it just, I didn't even have to have fucking chase or pace myself. I was just able to fucking put the bottle back and I kept that going and I couldn't stop for a bit. But I knew what I was doing. I was much more aware of what I was doing and watching myself, if that made sense. Like almost in like a third person, like disassociation kind of sense, where I was seeing what I was doing, and I was okay, and I didn't care at the same time. Like I knew that I wasn't gonna be stuck in that rut because I had no desire to be there. Gotta run, so I gotta catch up with you. Take care, Steve. Take care of yourself. So in a sense, I knew what I was doing, and I knew I was gonna be stuck there for long. But it was scary to see how familiar and welcoming that was in the same breath too. Yeah. Sorry for the rant, but anyway, alcohol was honestly the hardest thing for me because once alcohol's in the picture, everything's in the picture for me. Next question. Nadine. Hello. I actually had a pretty good day. I got both AC units running upstairs because we're supposed to be 28 degrees Celsius, so that's hot as shit for me. I got my laundry going. It's getting close to being done. At some point, I gotta go and check the dryer, so you have to bear with me. I think it's still running. Meal prep's done. I took Cherry to the dog park. She had a great time. Patrick, how have you been? No, Patrick, you're right. Like sometimes, like even the conversations you had with me when you'd reach out, like, and that's another thing is when I was in that rut, I felt that I don't know if I want to say ashamed, embarrassed. I want to say I felt embarrassed because I knew what I was doing and I knew people were concerned. but I was intentionally being like really destructive, and because I knew what I was doing, I wanted to keep people away because I was like, fuck, I'm embarrassed. I'm going through this right now, and I don't want to let people close to me and like feel like I'm letting them down already as much as I'm letting myself down. So there was a huge gap there where I would like maybe respond like DMs or people's messages like every couple of days or something just because I was fucking hard on myself and it was embarrassing for me, I should say. Even though people tell me you shouldn't be embarrassed, it's part of the journey and so on and so forth. For me, it was embarrassing because I felt like I let a lot of people down. I feel like you look at like TikTok, for example, I have a pretty decent following, and in a sense, I was like, "Fuck, this is actually embarrassing." Because I know I have a very large community that looks up to me, but like looking back at it, like the first 2 years of my sobriety, like yeah, I was doing great. Don't get me wrong in regards to staying clean and sober. You'd like let people. Oh, 100% I did. When I try to already know day here, too lazy. Good buddy, waiting for Steeler and then try review. I'm not gonna say you have girl chin, but the awareness helps for me. I don't necessarily disagree, Patrick, but in the same breath, I don't need a lot of people either, right? Like you said, like there's a lot of people that'll reach out to you, and that's concerning to me to some extent. Like the people that reached out and followed up are the people I typically talk to on a regular basis. But yeah, like, you are right. You will have a huge, like let's say, flood of people that are concerned. But I don't think they're necessarily concerned. It's kind of like this is a really bad comparison. So just go with me on this because it makes sense in my head. When someone passes away, and let's use Facebook as an example, and suddenly everyone's friends like, oh my god, I miss you, wish I would have spent more time with you, and they post on this individual's wall, and let's say it's someone you're actually really tight with, and you're looking at the comments being like, man, this motherfucker never liked you, and you never once fucking reached out to them. Like you can just kind of fucking smell through the bullshit, right? Even people that weren't really tight with me were reaching out, and I can understand, like, hey, we haven't talked in a couple years. I see you're not doing well, so I can understand that. But it also makes me like question, like, what's the motive? Like, what is your intention behind reaching out? So I can definitely see where people come from on that. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I see where you're coming from, Patrick. So I totally lost my train of thought. I can hear the dryer, I think. But I don't know. Yeah, no, you're right about that,
Okay.
Max. Whoops. So speaking of like high school, in high school, I would have been, I guess, more of like a stoner kind of dork, if you will. Like I didn't do football, basketball, baseball, or the volleyball stuff. It just there was no excitement. Even the hockey teams, I'm like, it's not for me. So I did martial arts. I smoked dope, and I like going to art. Like that was kind of my thing, right? And there was a lot of people I didn't get along with in high school. But fast forward a few years after high school, the people that I absolutely hated in high school and despised and thought they were total fucking twats, I'm actually really good friends with. Like I had a lot more in common with them than I thought. And as an adult, like I'm able to sit there and have conversations with those people and have a better understanding and just more respect with them than the people that were my friends in high school. Like there's only maybe four, maybe three people from high school that I still talk to from time to time. Like we're not like talking all the time, but like we'll reach out every couple of weeks or a few months. Hey, how are you doing? Kind of pick up where we left off. But a lot of the people that I absolutely despised in high school is like, man, I think the reason we didn't get along is because we were so fucking similar. and we didn't want to fucking come to terms or acknowledge that, hey, just because this individual dresses and looks like that doesn't mean I could be friends or can't be friends with them, right? It's just so weird our thought process or how we looked at things when we were younger. Like even for me, the way my brain works now was definitely not the way it worked 2 years ago, let alone 4 years ago. Hang on. All right. So I got about 20 minutes, give or take. And then, yeah. Oh, sorry, there's a comment. I missed that. One second here, everybody. What the hell? Oh no, what did I do? Okay, I fucked this up. What did I do? Bear with me, everyone. No. Oh no, I fucked my live up somehow. Cancel. Oh no, why is it like this? Whoops. My screen's like small. I lost my friend now from college days. I would say a handful of friends I've made from being in the trades, right? Like when it comes to like high school and shit, there's only a few of them that I still talk to and have good relationships with. I don't know. The screen just went and shrunk up a couple sizes. Christina, yeah, like a social chameleon, if you will. Little hacky sack. Right? Like we haven't even actually officially met, and you and I talk quite a bit, especially from people that are still around or in the Grand Prairie area. And it's weird for the people who are in Grand Prairie, besides my family. I want to say there's like one, maybe 1 to 3 people that I talk to fairly often in that area. Yeah, that I grew up knowing and like went to school with, whatever the case is. But then when it comes to people online, where I'm like, you know what, these people are chill. You, Sasha, a woman named Courtney, another woman named Courtney. There's a lot of Courtneys that I meet online, apparently. That's gonna be a fucking problem. Um, like the list of people that I've met online that I actually really enjoy talking to that are from my home area is mind-boggling. One second, I just gotta check this. Okay. Like when it comes to like let's say Parkdale, the only people I still talk to, uh, or even East Glen, the girl I dated, her name was Angie, so her and I still talk, and she was in East Glen, and then there's yourself, Dave, and Brandon. That's it from like the Parkdale area that I still talk to. Oh yeah. I'm really hoping I can make this YouTube channel thing grow. It is fucking hard. YouTube and Facebook are hard platforms to grow. Go for a ride, grab a coffee, have a great rest of your day. Nadine, thank you for dropping in. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. East Glen too. Hopefully you have no memories of me there. No, when I met you, it was Parkdale. 1 second, everybody. So yeah. Oh. I can't think of how. Yeah, work hard. Rewards. What rewards? I'm so confused. What are these going for long? Grade 10 and start of 11. Okay, so when we met, it was like grade 8, grade 9. So yeah, that was a while back. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, finally. There was like one spot I couldn't get to crack. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to work on YouTube. It's just fuck. I'm gonna go in Europe. It's pretty late. All right, Denny, try and get some sleep. Thank you for dropping in, though. I appreciate it. So thank you. I hope you get a good sleep. I feel like my YouTube would probably grow significantly quicker than Facebook. It's just, yeah, it's hard to like, for example, to get people who really like your content to follow the platforms that you'd like to get to grow. Because a lot of people don't want to be on YouTube. A lot of people don't want to use Facebook because like, they both kind of suck. Thank you. Have a good night. Right? But I would like to see my YouTube at least get to like 10,000 or more. So once I'm done this live, I gotta go to the south side quickly and then back to pick up a friend. They're arriving in the city from Calgary. So I gotta pick them up on the south side, drop them off at a buddy's house, then come home, shower, and then pretty much go to bed. I also have to talk with the other roommate. There's been a bunch of things that have kind of been pissing me off lately, and I can kind of talk about it a little. Like she's a nice person, don't get me wrong, but she's also kind of like like right now. I should say right now she's being a little difficult to live with. Like for example, there's just a few things that have been kind of progressively annoying me. So like the dishes, right? Like anytime if you guys ever seen, like I always go out of my way. Like, I shouldn't say go out of my way. I always do the dishes, even if they're not mine. If they're on the counter, it fucking drives me up the wall. So I wash the dishes. It's not a big deal. But she made a comment a while back that I do a better job at washing the dishes, and she leaves them on the counter. Or she'll grab dishes, forks, bowls, cups, and hoard them up in her room. And then when I go to use them, they're not fucking there. And I'm mad. So I do all the dishes so I have something to use. And then once the dishes are done, she comes down with a pile of dishes and the sinks are full again. I'm like, what the fuck? So that kind of pissed me off. There was a thing she was doing there for a while and she started doing it again because I had a conversation with her and I'm like, okay, this is not okay. Like these things that I'm going to list off are really unacceptable. Like a little bit ago, she had a shower at 12:30 a.m. like at night, and I'm sleeping. I have to get up at 5:30 for work. By the time it was quiet in the house, it was a bit after 1 o'clock, and I was fucking furious about that. But she had her boyfriend over, and her boyfriend works a 24 and 4. But I don't know what's going on with his schedule, and it's confusing. It's really fucking confusing. Sigrid, how are you? I wouldn't really shit on me. Right, so that happened. So we talked about the things I'm going to mention here a little bit. My brother's renting the basement, and him and his girlfriend were getting intimate, right? And she decided to start doing laundry at 11:30 at night, right? So it's late. Him and his girlfriend want to like have some fun together. And in the course of a half hour, she went down 3 times to go check on her laundry. And like that pissed my brother off. She'll like pull the garbage out of the garbage can and then leave the garbage instead of taking like the dumpster where I live is literally fucking 40 feet away from our door. Instead of taking it out of the garbage and taking it to the dumpster, she'll either drop it on the front doorstep or right in front of the garbage can and then leaves it for days on end. And fuck, man, that makes me mad. Because like I came home today after going to the dog park, and she leaves Taco out of her kennel, and Taco had torn apart a garbage bag completely, and there was garbage all over the kitchen, down the hallway, and I was pretty fucking mad about that shit. So like we're gonna have a talk about that as well. There's a handful of things. It's just like, fuck, you're a nice person, but you make living together kind of hard at the moment. Good, you okay? I don't really know why she's like that, honestly. And, like she's 27, so she's not much younger than me, but it's like living with a teenager down near. Like a lot of these things are mind boggling. For example, the vacuum has a very specific place that I put it in, the steam cleaners, the mops, so on and so forth. She'll grab it and then use it and then just leaves it in the hallway upstairs and doesn't put it back. And that fucking irks the shit out of me like you wouldn't believe. No. Her and I were never friends before. That is my ex-girlfriend's best friend living with me. And my ex doesn't live with me anymore. So it is a pretty interesting little situation that's been going on, to say the least. Uh huh. And that's why, like, when people are like, "Oh, like, what's going on with your girlfriend or this and that?" I'm like, I don't want to talk about this shit because it gets pretty fucking complicated and kind of annoys the fuck out of me right now because I don't really know what's all going on, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Right. I've had my landlord call me because some of the neighbors have made complaints, particularly about her. And like at one point when she was, like she still lives here, but at one point she was bringing like, fuck me. I don't even know how many different guys home to this place to sleep with in a week. And that became a phone call that I had to deal with my landlord. And it's, I'm getting tired of the complaints, honestly. Oh, don't be sorry. Like things with my ex are kind of like interesting and complicated too. And then a part of me feels like I need to help her friend, even though like I know I don't need to. It's a situation. It's a fucking situation. But you know, uh, I think I feel more inclined to help her because like she got out of school. Her and her ex broke up for whatever reasons that is between them, and it's really none of my business. So she finished school. She only makes minimum wage, and like that's not to say she can't do more or whatever. Like I'm not judging, but some people need help. They need like I shouldn't say help, like a helping hand, like a little support. But in the same breath, I feel like I'm being kind of taken advantage of. If that makes sense too. Next fire away. I'm like open to a lot of stuff. Right now we're just kind of venting and chilling. It's all good. No, 100%. Like, I'd like to help everyone. But in the same breath, everyone pisses me off, you know? Like, and my ex, when we broke up, there's a lot of shit that happened with that. I don't know if she means to take advantage of me or not, but like that's just how I feel, right? I shouldn't say that she is, but that's just how I feel at this point in time. Give me 1 second. Uno momento, por favor. Uh, a little bit. Oh no, where do we go? There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm not saying that she is, but my feelings are one thing, and she may not mean for it to come across that way, right? I just wish, like, when she moved in, she wanted to focus kind of on herself. And I was happy to hear that, but she spent a lot of time on Tinder. And I'm not judging. Like, everyone rebounds and comes back out of relationships differently.
But it feels like she really put a lot of priority in that than working on herself. No, Nix, not necessarily. So, I'm not going out of my way to help her because I feel like that I could work on things with my ex. If I'm being honest, when me and my ex were breaking up, I didn't know me and my ex were breaking up. She had told her friends and family that she was done with the relationship, and I didn't know. I had no fucking idea. She was checked out a few months ago. Like she was checked out shortly after her birthday, so in November. So November, December, January. We broke up in February. She was done with the relationship for a while, right? And we're still talking. Like things are still kind of fresh and raw, and like there's a lot of things that happened. Like both sides did a lot of fucking mean things to each other. Like let's say just some harmful shit. Like it's just stuff you don't do to a significant other. I'm not innocent by any means. So in no way am I trying to paint her a different color, right? Because like I'm not the fucking pony boy picture perfect image. I'm really not, especially in relationships. I know that there's a lot of shit I gotta work on. But when she was checked out of the relationship, she went. Her best friend cried wolf, said that I'm dealing with some stuff. Like this is really bad. Yada yada yada. So she went, helped her best friend move out of her fucking partner's house, and grabbed her best friend, dumped her in our place, and then shortly after we break up. And now her best friend's living here. So her best friend lives here while the ex moved out, and her and I, me and the ex, we still talk, and I'm just kind of feeling it out and seeing what's going on, right? With no hopes of anything because there's a lot of damage that's there, and I don't know if either side can forgive the other, right? I really don't. But I don't think she's necessarily a bad person. I think there's a lot of issues that both of us have that we both need to work on, whether it's together or completely separate. And if we're platonic, we're platonic. And if it's not meant to be in any shape, way, or form, then it's not meant to be. That's just kind of how I look at it. So I'm really not getting my hopes up about anything at all. I don't have any like bad feelings towards her, but definitely in the same breath is very conflicting that her like how everything kind of happened, right? Like she knew she was done, but she moved her best friend in, and she feels bad. She feels really bad about that. Like we talked about, she's like, I didn't mean for it to kind of go down like that, right? And she's like, I wish I would have communicated. Like looking back, she's like, I was just scared and this and that. So like, there's a lot of things that wasn't worked on. Like looking back at it, I didn't prioritize my relationship as much, right? It's I was so caught up in social media, and I want to make my social media grow, and I wasn't a very present boyfriend. I wasn't. I was there, but I wasn't there where it mattered. Whether it was romantically, emotionally, physically, I wasn't a very good partner in that sense. Right? God, my nipples are looking. Right? I just wasn't. I wasn't a good fucking supportive boyfriend. It wasn't that I'm a bad person. It's just I wasn't there in the ways that I should have been there. And I know that. And I think that's a huge reason why I'm probably not posting as much or overly active, as well as that creative thought process just isn't really there right now, especially with like work, getting ready to go out of scaffolding into schooling, and where I want to take my social media and what direction my life I want to go in. I just don't fucking know what the fuck to talk about. I don't know why you guys are saying like balanced and like everything. I'm so confused. Fuck. Like my friend Carissa, Kay, that's in my TikTok lives. Like I've talked with her about this a handful of times, and she seems to think like I'm incredibly patient. Maybe I'm just really stupid. I don't know. Maybe I'm a sucker for punishment. How's YouTube going, bro? Shane, it's a slow process, man. It is a slow, slow process, and I need to be more active on it, honestly. Yeah, nice, yeah. Well, that's one thing I never understood with breakups, right? Everyone acts like it's such a bad thing, and then they resent their ex in some way. And I don't resent my exes in some way. Like, in a lot of ways, I still love my exes, but it's a different type of love. And like each one of them, in some way, has helped me grow and mature and become a much better person than when I first met them. If anything, I think breakups are really good and fucking they hurt. They scar you, they fuck you up 100%. But I think breakups are essential in your own personal development and growth as a person. Fuck, fall in love many, many times over. Have your heart broken many, many times over. Yeah, it fucking sucks. But the person you become, the if you allow those moments of heartbreak and actually look at it with a fucking clear head and be like, you know what? No, I did fuck up on this. I wasn't listening when I said I was listening and I was just reassuring. And you can actually really sit there and reflect and dissect everything. You know, like your exes can be your biggest fucking motivators, your teachers, influencers in your lives if you'll let them. And I've had many conversations with a lot of my exes, and there's no ill will, there's no nothing, right? If they like at some point, one way or another, like I managed to maintain a lot of friendships, so I thought it was friendships. But at the end of the day, a lot of those relationships or friendships that I had with my exes, it was more physical, right? There was always a physical attraction in some way, and I've learned that growing up, or as I've gotten older, I should say, growing up. But I feel like how to word this. I don't know. They just helped me grow in a lot of ways, for better or for worse. Yeah, I hear ya. And like I said, I don't know what's gonna go on. It's a weird situation that definitely fucking happened when we broke up, and then her ex was here, and everything. And I think she's learned a lot from it, honestly. And whether or not her and I get back together or we go separate ways, I don't know. And I'm not really putting a hell of a lot of effort or thought into it. If I want to be a man whore or vice versa, fuck. Cut loose. Have fun. Be you. I feel like my YouTube lives are just gonna be like, ew, that's dirty. Like logs or journals at this point. Owie. There we go. Okay, ear hole cleaned for now. I have to have a shower later tonight. Alright, I should probably get off live because I gotta get this outside. I'm not really worried about like relationships and whatnot, honestly. Like right now, um, I don't want to focus on relationships. I just want to kind of prioritize the schooling and whatnot. Put myself in a better place financially, right? So like what I want to do is I want to really buckle down on my credit card here. When I tore my tricep tendon, I relied on OnlyFans because at the time when my social media went like viral, I had a bunch of people flood TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and fucking all my DMs. Everything just blew up. It became very overwhelming, and it was like a huge shot of fucking dopamine, right? But when I tore my tricep tendon, I thought OnlyFans was blowing up, and I was like, this is my break. I went from, making a couple $100 to making thousands and thousands in a month, but it just, it falled off, right? And that progressively kind of dipped off more and more, and I realized that, the most consistent thing about social media is that it's inconsistent, right? Like now when I post on TikTok, a lot of shit flops. I don't really get a lot of hundreds of thousands of views anymore, but I'm also not posting nearly as much. And I think that has a lot to do with the direction that my life is going in. I don't really right now feel the need to prioritize my socials, and even with like OnlyFans, like yeah, it's there, but I've noticed like there's a handful of people that want to support me, and they're willing to go to OnlyFans and not actually even be presently active on it, which is really fucking cool, and I'm really appreciative of it. But maybe I need to find a different means if people want to actually like in some shape or form like support me. Like not to sound like I need handouts, but I can honestly see OnlyFans dying off in the next couple of years. Like I can't see it being for everything, right? I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years OnlyFans fucking hits the bucket. But yeah, I'm gonna jump off live, everyone. I'll talk to y'all later, and just want to say thanks for like fucking sitting there and shooting the shit with me, right? Because I don't really talk about a lot of this crap. Yeah. All right, I'll talk to you later. How you going? Later.